Good afternoon. Hola. How's everyone doing? You want to talk about a Sunday roast? As I pour some coffee, mess with my settings. What's out now? Wrecking Beacons. Hey Terry. I also put out yesterday after the live stream the Baggins Book Bazaar. That bookstore is crazy. That is a really cool bookshop. It's full of everything. Find some good bookshops in the UK. But and then yeah, this morning came out Brecon Beacons. It is a good bookshop, huh, Terry? They got some cookbooks in there. What'd you cook last night? You said you got some red wine to make spaghetti. But yeah, it was a cool bookshop. The Brecon Beacons waterfall hike looks nice too. I'm gonna be in that area for sure. And that looks like a good hike. That's a pretty good channel. I'd never seen it before, but he gave like specific details, which is good for me. Doing bolognese now in the slow cooker. Oh, that's gonna be good, huh? Yeah, that's gonna be good. I made turkey burgers last night, Terry. You ever make turkey burgers? That's healthy. Hey, Sue. We're talking about food. We're gonna talk about Sunday roast. Hey, Genghis. I made turkey burgers last night. Took the ground turkey meat, added in like red and green peppers, a little Worcestershire sauce, made patties, and then I sauteed some onions. I caramelized some onions on the stovetop, and then I covered them in sliced Gouda, my turkey burgers. You've had turkey burgers? I make them a lot. I made them last night. So they were turkey burgers. The meat had red and green peppers in it, and the burger itself had been. I topped it with caramelized onions and smoked Gouda slices. You had lamb burgers yesterday, James? That's pretty lean too. Lamb is, expensive here. More expensive than say turkey. So that's why I make turkey burgers. We have a lot of turkey, and you have more lamb. And Americans overall are a little put off by lamb. Just in general, Americans are like, it's a baby. Which is, they feel the same way about veal. It's a baby cow. I had kangaroo burgers and ostrich burgers. Let's see. I've never had kangaroo or ostrich. I've had emu and bison burgers, but never ostrich. Lamb's your favorite meat. It's good, it's tender, it's delicious. I eat lamb, as you know, but it's a little pricier than some meats in the U.S. and people think a little bit about it, like you don't. There's a lot of Americans don't like to eat baby animals. I don't know why, but and that's why they don't sell lamb at Walmart because your average American is It's definitely not going to pay more to eat lamb. Anyway, the turkey burgers were good. Slightly burnt thin lamb cutlets are delicious on Genghis. Yeah, it's good meat. It's real tender. It's good. I like lamb. Talk about a Sunday roast today. I got this beef stove sitting right here. Last thing I have left from British Emporium. Man, honestly, it's rainy today. I can't work outside. I was thinking about taking y'all in the live stream to the World Market. Lamb and mint sauce, Sunday roast. It's lovely, huh? I'll get into Sunday roast talk too. Um, but I was going to take y'all to the store called World Market and maybe look at what type of British food they have, snacks they might have there. But man, I gotta be honest, it's costing me money. I could have done it, but I put some numbers to my channel and my channel loses money. Because I buy equipment, I buy this, I buy that. And the food videos aren't cheap. So I had to be like, no, I'm not going to World Market. I'm sorry, y'all. My channel needs to at least be profitable. And it's not. It costs me money to do my channel. I did the math last night. Since I've started. That's not a good business idea. I need to wait till my channel's bigger. And then I'll spend more money on food, things like that. Honestly, I need to probably spend $1,000 just on upgrading equipment. But I'm not going to do that. Well, speaking of money, you know what I got yesterday? Well, it's got Queen Elizabeth on it. It's a Canadian nickel. Do you ever get like American coins sometimes? Like, they give you change somewhere, then you look in your pocket later, and it's an American coin. That happens here. Sometimes occasionally, I'll get a British coin. Does that ever happen? More often, we'll get a Canadian coin. They're real similar in size. Like yesterday, I got a Canadian coin. It's a Canadian nickel. I don't know if you can see it. It's got Queen Elizabeth on it, though. It's a Canadian nickel. Sometimes you have a dollar bill, Terry, but you didn't get that accidentally, right? You didn't get that by someone accidentally gave you $1. You thought it was a pound. You get euros, that makes sense, right? The same way we get Canadian coins. I do have some British money coins that I've got just by accident. Even some French coins that somebody passed around in the U.S. monetary system until they end up in my pocket. I'm like, what? How did I get that? But yesterday somebody gave me I don't know, I got a Canadian nickel. Used a 5p UK coin on a Canadian arcade machine and it worked. Well, yeah, they have your monarchs on their coins. You got it from a travel shop too, yeah. Yeah. It's just funny. I guess a lot of Commonwealths put your monarch. And did they change that in Canada? Does it still have Queen Elizabeth? I don't know. Did they change your coin? Is Elizabeth on your coins? Yeah, I don't even know. Did any of you have to change, did they change any of your money when Charles became king? Now I'm just curious. Talking about money. I don't know. I think Elizabeth is still on Canadian money. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, I'm not probably gonna do too many more food tasting videos for a little while. You got a William Shakespeare 2 pound coin, Gius? It's worth 3 pounds. Oh, that's so they did put King Charles's on your money now, huh, man? Do they leave anything with Elizabeth? They're changing slowly to Charles. Right. Sue says. Do you have are there is there I don't really know. Is there money, coinage, or bills in the UK that have former monarchs? Or it's just the current monarch is on all your money? Queen's head is still in circulation, right? But they're changing it to the king's head gradually in circulation aging. Okay. And the current monarch is who goes on all your money. There's no money that there's like a tribute to a former monarch. You earn money on your tablet, and it's annoying because it pays in USA currency. So yeah, I know, you don't get as much. I know it sucks. You can't switch the settings? That does suck. Like on YouTube, I can have it pay me in, well, no, I don't know. I think if you, yeah, wherever you're at in the world on YouTube, you can have it pay you in your local currency. And the stamps. You've seen any old monarchs. Like our coins and our dollars have passed, their memory of past presidents, or they don't always have to be presidents, historical figures. Those are on our money. But you don't have anything like that, huh? Hmm. Just current, or the one who just died to be replaced. That's what Ben and Gingas say. That makes sense, I guess. Do y'all know who's on our money? Like if I say, I mean, you know who's on the dollar bill, right? I'm sure you do. And you know Benjamin Franklin's on the 100, probably, because slang for 100 is a Benjamin. On the notes, it's normally a current monarch on one side and a famous person on the other side. Okay. So you do have, but those famous people, they're not old monarchs. Yeah, Washington's on the dollar bill. Sure. Washington's on the dollar, Lincoln's on the 5. And then on our coins, it's the opposite. Lincoln's on the 1 cent, and Washington's on the 5 cent. People like Winston Churchill, Ben says, but not former monarchs. What's not Washington? Washington's on the $1 bill. Still got a bucket full of half pences. Don't know what to do with them, right? The penny, they're not making pennies in the U.S. anymore. Did y'all know that? It costs more than a cent to make a penny. Used to have a Jane Austen one, Sue. That's cool. So they stopped making pennies in the U.S. We don't mint pennies anymore in the U.S. And some stores, like Trader Joe's, they don't give pennies. I mean, there's still pennies in circulation, but we don't mint them anymore. And like Trader Joe's, they round. So if they owe you 3 cents, or if they owe you 1 cent change, they give you a nickel. They give you 5 cents at Trader Joe's. They stopped using pennies. They round to the favor of the customer. Is that weird? You got a 20-pound note with the Queen of Joseph Mallard William Turner. Joseph Mallard William. Joseph Mallard Williams. Is this a steam? Who is that? Joseph. Is this guy related to trains? Joseph Mallard Williams. It sounds familiar. Joseph Turner. Does he have something to do with trains? Anyway, so you do know some who's on our money. I don't really know who's on yours. But that's pretty cool. Jane Austen, Sue, huh? I'd love to have that. Winston Churchill, what's he on the back of? You have to go, no problem, Terry. Arrivederci. Hasta la vista. Vaya con Dios, Terry. Does anyone know what Vaya con Dios translates to? You probably heard that phrase in Spanish. Vaya con Dios. You'll know what it means. An artist. An artist, Joseph Mallard William Turner. Okay. He's a painter. And Penn says you think, okay, and see, it confirms. Yeah, you don't get 50-pound notes. Genghis. Y'all were telling me they don't trust the 50-pound note when they, if you try to pay with one, they're like, manager. That's what y'all told me. 50-pound notes. We don't have a $50 bill. Do we? Nah. I don't think so. We just go $20 bill to 100. No, we do have a 50. You just never see them. Now that I think about it, we do have a 50. I don't know who's on it. Most places won't take a 50. Man, you never see a 50 in the U.S. But we do have them. I don't know who's on them. Don't know who's on them. Anyway, we're just talking about it. But not all of ours are president. Andrew Jackson is on our money. Wait. Andrew Jackson was president. Alexander Hamilton was never president. He's on our money. Benjamin Franklin was never president. He's on our money. And there's some Native Americans on some money. Coins. Sacagawea is on a dollar coin. Let's see. So they're not all presidents that is on our money. Anyway, when I start talking about money, I meant to talk about food. So, yeah, the Brecon Beacons, that's out now. I didn't put anything else out yet. I probably will later. Grant, that's right. Grant is on the 50. I could not think of who it was. That's right. Ben Grant. Ulysses S. Grant. Yeah, you said that before. You have a £1 billion note in the Bank of England. Seems a little pointless, but maybe they use it for something. I don't know. Grant. How could I forget Grant? Ulysses S. Grant. I think the S is for Sherman. He was quite a character if you know anything about him. He was quite a character. Charles Dickens. That would be so cool. We don't have any. No, we don't have any. We don't honor any authors on our American money. You know, sometimes we print commemorative stuff that doesn't go into circulation. That's different. But on our circulated money, there are no authors. No. Even Martin Luther King Jr. He should be. I think he should be honored on our money, but I don't think he's on any money either. He was the whole Scottish Reserves King. I can't think of any authors or even poets. Who's the most famous American author? If I ask you that, like, who would you think of? If I was like, name a really famous American author, who would you name? I mean, there's a lot. There's not just one that's the most famous, but I wonder who you immediately think of when I say American authors. Stephen King, yeah, he's not getting on money for sure. He's really good and prolific and famous. I'm just curious. I have my favorites. Sunday roast. I was trying to get to the root of like, what's the history of the Sunday roast? How did that start? You know, how did that start? Mark Twain, Genghis. That is who I thought you would say. When I asked that question, a couple popped into my head immediately, and I thought, Mark Twain. Yeah, Sue says it too. I thought you might say Mark Twain. That is who. There's another one that popped in my head too. Lee Harper. The thing about Lee Harper, though, not prolific. To Kill a Mockingbird, great book, but then she went into, she went into seclusion and didn't write anymore. Didn't publish anymore. But yeah, Lee Harper. Anyway, I was thinking, who should we honor if we put an author on some of our Tinder? Who will we author? And probably Mark Twain. Yeah, I knew you meant Harper Lee. You just said it backwards. I mean, Lee, Harper. To Kill a Mockingbird. This is what you're talking about, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird. They put out a sequel she wrote. They published after her death. I have it. I read it. It's not as good. But there is. There is one. Yeah, Mark Twain. There are a lot of good American authors. I'm not gonna, yeah. If you think of any more, you can shoot them up there. I mean, yeah. Some great American authors, like, well, I'll see if you name any more. I don't want to start naming. But I wanted to get to the bottom of, like, why did y'all start having a Sunday roast? Why is it done? Why do y'all all do the same meal on Sunday? Why is it so popular? When did it start? In the U.S., I will say, and I noticed this when I was doing some research, and this may be one thing that helped to catch on. Hey, Nikki Brooke, what actually says it in my research. So my dad, as a lot of you know, my dad retired from the Air Force and then became a minister. We went to church every Sunday. And so oftentimes my mom would put a roast, beef roast, into the oven, and it would cook while we were in church. Then you come home and you have a roast on Sunday. That is sort of common in the U.S., especially maybe back in the 1950s. You know what I mean? Back in the 1950s, I would say that was for church-going families in the U.S. It probably was a common thing because you could put the roast in the oven. You go to church, play right. Arthur Miller's a good one. There's one you're just missing, I think. I would say two come to my mind that could be on U.S. currency: Mark Twain and no one said him yet. Oops, I gave it away. I said him. Anyway, so I would say that the Sunday roast, especially, and especially back a few decades ago, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe started dying around that time, that a Sunday roast for a church-going family in the U.S. probably was pretty common. And I did see, and Adrian's saying it now in the research, that that probably also helped to catch on in the UK. Adrian says traditionally people went to church, put on the Sunday best, and have a Sunday roast. Your grandparents and great grandparents did, right? Maybe that is why it caught on there. It's easy to do on Sunday. I found some other reasons too. I was trying to do the research of both. A, why did it catch on? What is the history of it? And what is it? What is a traditional Sunday roast in the UK? But I do have, and this, I don't always go to Wikipedia, but I'm going to read a little bit from Wikipedia. Just slightly. Because it said some things that I wanted to know. Maybe, is this true? Is this not true? But it says a Sunday roast dinner is a British dish traditionally eaten on Sunday. Oh, thanks, Wikipedia. A Sunday roast is traditionally eaten on Sunday. It consists of roast meat, roast or mashed potatoes, and accompaniments such as Yorkshire pudding, gravy, and stuffing. It may include condiments such as applesauce, mint sauce, red currant sauce, mustard, cranberry sauce, or horseradish sauce. A range of vegetables can be served such as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, parsnips, or peas, which can be boiled, steamed, or roasted alongside the meat and the potatoes. What do you think of that? What I just read? That's straight from Wikipedia. That's the first paragraph. Is that what it is? Was that an accurate reading from Wikipedia? Sorry. When you were a kid on Sunday in the village you grew up, you could smell all the Sunday roast cooking. Mondays were always leftovers, right? Like bubble and pop, Sue. Bubble and squeak, sorry. Yeah, bubble and squeak the next day. It's always best meal of the week on the day of rest. Nikki Brooks says probably also that the rest of the week people had cheap food and had one good meal on a Sunday maybe. I think that also could be true. You want to do it up on Sunday. Anyway, I read that first paragraph. Is it common that you might have applesauce or mint sauce or red currant sauce or mustard or cranberry sauce or horseradish sauce? Do any of you do that? I don't want to read too much from this, but from Wikipedia, because I don't always trust Wikipedia. But it does say this. It says the Sunday roast originated in Britain, particularly Yorkshire. Is that true? Ben, you always have mint sauce with lamb, applesauce with pork, AG, right? The sauce depends on which meat you're having, Sue, for a Sunday roast. Good to know. Some people told me when I roasted that lamb for that Coleman's mustard, and I put Coleman's mustard, and they're like, that it was the wrong sauce. Mint with lamb, that's a horseradish with beef. That's what somebody was saying. Don't put mustard on lamb. What's the matter with you, Wayne? I was like, it was delicious. Do whatever you want. But for a Sunday roast, I see horseradish or mustard or mint. Depends on the meat. Okay. Choppy says no to horseradish. Well, is that just you don't like horseradish? Or no, nobody ever eats horseradish with Sunday roast. Or you just don't like it. Anyway, This part is the origin, and this is from Wikipedia. And I have other information, but this one, Wikipedia says the Sunday roast originated in Britain, particularly Yorkshire, as a meal to be eaten after the church service on Sunday. You used to have white sauce with green beans. That sounds good, Sue. Eating a large meal following church services is common in most of Europe, but the Sunday roast variant developed as unique to Britain. On Sundays, all types of meat and dairy produce are allowed to be eaten. This is unlike Fridays, where many Christians of the Roman Catholic, Anglican, and Methodist denominations traditionally abstain from eating meats and instead eat fish. Likewise, it is traditional for Anglicans and English Catholics to fast before Sunday services. Is that true? I didn't know that. With a larger meal to break the fast after service. These Christian religions rules created. Sorry, I lost my. These Christian religious rules created several traditional dishes in the United Kingdom. You don't like horseradish, Choppy. I like the Grateful Dead. Fish and chips on Friday, right? Cheese sauce flavor with leeks for chicken. It says in the late 1700s, during the Industrial Revolution in the United Kingdom, families would place a cut of meat into the oven as they got ready for church. They would then add in vegetables such as potatoes, turnips, and parsnips before going to church on a Sunday morning. When they returned from the church, the dinner was all but ready. The juices from the meat and the vegetables were used to make stock or gravy to pour on top of the dinner. A second opinion holds that the Sunday roast dates back to medieval times, when the village serfs served the squire for 6 days a week. Then, on the Sunday, after the morning church service, the serfs would assemble in a field and practice their battle techniques and were rewarded with the feast of oxen roasted on a spit. So these are two theories that Wikipedia says where it comes from. One is like it just basically church. People started eating it after church. One says it goes back to medieval times. Yeah, most pubs also do Sunday roast on Sunday. Yep, that's right. 3 meats if you want. So, do y'all know? Where did it start? Have you heard any theories? This one says it started particularly in Yorkshire. You know, we don't have a lot of Anglican churches in the U.S., but y'all do. Hey, Ira Mullis. Like I used to make a Yorkshire pudding in a frying pan like a pancake, but with onions. Serve it before Sunday roast. Have it with gravy and a dash of pepper as a starter. I did read that originally Yorkshire puddings were a starter and not eaten with Sunday roast. I have that article. I'm going to pull it up in just a second because I have another article. That was from Wikipedia. I have another article. It's called The History of the Great British Sunday Roast. It says the Yorkshire puddings were originally a starter and not eaten with the meal. That's what it said. Every Sunday manor house at St. Bees does roast. Not sure where they come from, but a big thank you to whoever came up with them, right? I did grow up eating roast on Sundays. I did. I didn't know, like, oh, this is a British thing. It was just my mom would make it because it was easy on Sundays. Yeah, Yorkshire pudding definitely came from Yorkshire, but I don't know if the Sunday roast did. Yeah, it's part of the. You still have them as a starter, huh, Sue? Let's read from this website. It's called The Spruce Eats, and I've used it before. I like this website. But this one's called The History of the Great British Sunday Roast. It says the British love of beef, particularly for lunch on a Sunday, is a part of the national identity. Roast beef is eaten so often that even the French started calling Englishmen roast beef. roast beef, roast biffs. The French were calling Englishmen that in the 18th century. The Sunday roast is as much a tradition as was a few hundred years ago. It is even spread from the family dinner table to pubs and other days of the week. Maybe I had to stretch the food as people weren't rich, huh? Gingers. It says the origins of the Sunday roast. The Sunday roast came into prominence during the reign of King Henry VII in 1485. The British used to consume a considerable amount of meat. The yeomen of the guard, the royal bodyguards, have affectionately been known as beef eaters since the 15th century because of their love of eating roast beef. In 1871, William Kitchener, author of Apicus Redivius, or the Cook's Oracle, recommended eating 6 pounds of meat each week as a part of a healthy diet. He also recommended 4.5 pounds of bread and a pint of beer every day. Oh man, I'm this guy's favorite gay influencer. Y'all see that comment? I'm proud to be anyone's favorite anything. But honestly, y'all, the amount of abuse I take, not just in the live streams, but the amount of comments that I remove. And I'm paying to do this channel. My channel doesn't make money, it costs money. And then I'm constantly I have agreed that I'm creepy looking. There have been enough comments saying that I look creepy. Hey, that's it. That's my thing. I look creepy. I accept it. I can live with it. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. Today in the UK, a meat eater's diet can include approximately 3 pounds of meat each week, only 7 ounces of which is beef, and some would even consider that too much. Kitchener also describes in the book how to roast the noble sirloin of about 15 pounds before the fire for 4 hours. This method of hanging the meat on a spit demanded a sizable fireplace to feed a large household. The meat was served not only on Sunday, but as cold cuts, stews, and pies throughout the week. So yeah, it gives you, Kingus, it's a labor of love. I do it for the love of the game. So yeah, it gives you leftovers. That might be part of the idea, even way back in, where is this, the 15th century? No, 1871, sorry. So even back then, it was partly like, hey, we'll have these leftovers if we cook a big spit of beef on Sunday. It says the less well-off did not have the luxury of a large fireplace or the money for much meat. For many, a smaller weekly roast would be dropped off at the baker's en route to church and cooked in the cooling bread ovens. Bread was not baked on Sunday, it says. With access for all to cook meat, the tradition of the British Sunday lunch began and still continues today. Have you ever heard that? That in like the 1870s, people would drop off a roast at the baker and have them put it in their bread ovens that they weren't using on Sundays. Have y'all ever heard that? I never heard that. So maybe that's a red meat gives you gout chopping. Well, obviously I know that your Sunday roast is not all red meat currently, but apparently it started that way. As beef. You never heard that, Ben? I found that kind of fascinating when I was reading this. Because their ovens weren't big enough. So they drop off meat on their way to church, pick it up on their way back from the baker's cooling ovens or whatever, their warming ovens. Anyway, it says here the modern Sunday roast. You never heard that either, Adrian? Well, I mean, you know how you get information from the internet, but this is from a website called the Spruce Eats, which I have found pretty good in the past. It says the modern Sunday roast, though meat is no longer roasted in front of the fire, and today is baked in the modern oven, the term Sunday roast is still used. On Sundays throughout the UK, pubs and restaurants are packed full for the roast dinner. Some even serve the meal on other days of the week. But for many, cooking and serving Sunday lunch at home is the very heart of British food. It's considered the time for families and friends to get together and share great food. Also included in the traditional English Sunday lunch are roasted potatoes and root vegetables, green vegetables like cabbage and spring greens, cauliflower cheese, and lots of gravy. So that's what that says is the history. So, as usual, conflicting stories. It depends on who you cite, but I think it does have a lot to do with just being able to put these food in the oven, cook it while you go to church, and come home and have it, and it provides leftovers for the rest of the week. That seems to be the most logical conclusion. It's a good idea. You have trouble getting it all in your oven, right, Ben? So you could just take it, drop it off at the bakery back in the 1870s, and they would cook it for you. Or you just put it in their oven. A lot of French or Italian chefs won't cook steak well done. They say it's ruined. Well, Chompy, I'm going to agree. And I don't think it's just French or Italian chefs. I think any good chef will tell you if you well done your steak, you're ruining it. And if you like it that way, then that's the way that chef should cook it for you, and they should shut up. They can have their opinion, but they should shut up and cook it however you want. But I don't like my steak well done. For my taste, that is ruining it. You like it well done, a bit crusty on the outside, Genghis. Everybody should eat whatever they like, however they like it. I like my steak bloody. Cauliflower cheese is really great, huh, Chompy? I've heard that you do that. Most people used to grow all their own veg in those days, right? Anyone Gran in the UK makes the best Sunday roast, by the way. Everyone's Gran, yeah, right? You Gran? Oh, I'm sure, right? So I do have another article. This one is not about the history. It's about what is a traditional UK Sunday roast. And this is, I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna make one for my channel. And I'm gonna make this. It is for beef. So, should I do a beef Sunday roast? Is that what you guys think? Should I do beef? I have the beef gravy. I feel like I should do beef. I might do 3, except for y'all. If I do 3 meats, if I do, say, beef, chicken, and lamb, it's expensive. It's expensive. So I might just do beef. Not to mention that if I do 3, there's only 2 of us here in this house. We'll never eat all that. Even with leftovers, we just won't. You say this gravy goes well on any meat, Ben, even though it's beef gravy. I mean, what I'm saying is I'm gonna do 1 meat. I'm just gonna do 1. So if you think I should do beef, I'm gonna do beef. If you think I should do lamb, I'll do lamb. If you think I should do chicken, I'll do chicken. But I'm just gonna do 1. Do beef Sunday roast. Yeah, I'm just gonna do 1. Beef is certainly a classic. Lamb is expensive in the UK also, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do beef. But I do have this article. And should I do cauliflower cheese? What side should I do? You guys can help me. You can comment now. What sides do you think I should do? What sauce? So if it's beef, I'm supposed to do horseradish sauce? Is that what I should do? Or just do the gravy? No. Your lamb is imported from New Zealand? Ours is, for sure, Choppy. Yours is? Yeah, I'm going to do beef. It sounds like Genghis. Don't you have lamb in the UK? I mean, we have some, but most of ours is imported from New Zealand. I didn't think yours was. Okay, carrots. I feel like carrots and potatoes. Genghis says carrots. I'm going to do carrots and potatoes for sure, right? Should I do mashed potatoes? I feel like I want mashed potatoes with this. Or should I do roasted potatoes? King, it says roast potatoes. Broccoli. King, it's cauliflower with cheese. Cheddar cheese, Chuffy says. Cauliflower, cheese, horseradish, roast potatoes, carrots, and peas and cabbage. It says you suggest peeling 2 potatoes to get a nice crispy roast. Peeling 2 potatoes. Roast parsnips. Nikki says creamy mash, any 2 to 3 types of veg, beef, Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes, and gravy. And yeah, Adrian Yorkshire's. Roast the potatoes with the beef. Okay. I wanted to mash the potatoes. I'll roast them. I'm going to look back on all these comments and your suggestions so that I'll remember what you guys are writing down. You have lamb in England that comes from all those sheep. Yeah, I thought so, Steph. I see them all the time. Steph, good to see you. A dash of red wine and Marmite in the gravy. Okay. Okay, let me read this. It says a traditional Sunday roast in the UK is a cherished culinary tradition. Classic accompaniments include crispy roast potatoes, like y'all are saying, fluffy Yorkshire puddings, steamed seasonal vegetables like carrots, peas, and Brussels sprouts. What about peas? No one said peas. I don't have to do peas. Brussels sprouts and a rich, flavorful gravy. Additional staples often include cauliflower cheese, stuffing, and pigs in blankets? Y'all have pigs in blankets? This says additional staples. So sometimes, I thought that was just Christmas. Creating a comforting and indulgent meal. Then it's got all kinds of stuff here like, it says Yorkshire pudding is the unsung hero of the British Sunday roast. A dish so integral that its absence can spark minor family feuds. Traditionally paired with roast beef, this crispy batter creation is more than a side. It's a vessel, a sponge, and flavor amplifier all in one. Its golden puffed up structure is designed to catch gravy, meat, juices, and the occasional rogue roast potato, transforming each bite into a symphony of textures and tastes. Gotta have the Yorkshire pudding. Precision is key. The batter, a simple mix of eggs, milk, and flour, demands a specific ratio. Yeah, that's right. The secret, however, is in the heat. Preheat your muffin tin or roasting tray with a hot, fat beef dripping, which I do have. Pour in the batter. Yeah. Yeah, so the Yorkshire pudding is crucial to the traditional Sunday roast. You know, I've made them a few times now, and the last time I made them, when I did that Coleman's mustard, and I made a lamb and a bit of a Sunday roast, and they did not turn out very good. The first few times I did make them, they did, but I had to fail that last time. I think I got the beef drippings too hot. Yeah, too hot. And then when I put the batter in, yeah, they didn't turn out great. But for this one, I'm going to have to make sure that they turn out great. Yeah, Benny says that's use the meat juice in the gravy too. No peas, Choppy says. Yeah, pigs in blankets at Christmas. Yeah, your version of pigs in blankets. I know this website's from the UK. I knew what they meant. Ginga says peas go with mashed potatoes. Sprouts usually at Christmas, so I don't need to do sprouts. Yeah, everyone's saying pigs is Christmas. Yeah, I knew that. Sage and onion stuffing with my Sunday roast. Is that traditional? I'm trying to do a traditional Sunday roast. Nikki, bro. Pour the meat juices for the gravy. You may have corn too, Ben. Ginga says have corn with chicken and the cheese sauce. Okay. So I think I'm going to do beef. Obviously Yorkshire pudding. I'm going to use the beef stove gravy, which I'm not keen on. I am not going to lie. Why would I make instant? This cannot be better. Right? Is there any way, should I make my own gravy and put it side by side? Is there any way this is better than what I can make from scratch? Is there any way? I mean, Adrian and Ben, you're saying add the beef drippings, add Marmite, add red wine. Is that because this isn't that great and you're trying to boost it? Because it's just instant? Why don't I make it from scratch? Why isn't scratch better? Homemade better than this? Is this going to be better than what I can make as an accomplished gravy maker of myself? Can I make it better from scratch? But anyway, Bisto is better than just original Bisto. Yeah, there's a million versions I can use. You always use Bisto, but it does taste better with the juices, right? It tastes better with the juices, which is what I would make homemade gravy from, the juices. Stuffing usually with turkey and chicken. Okay, I'm not doing that. Let's use OXO in the UK. Yeah, I feel like Bisto is just a cheat. Just a cheat. But that is why I'm making the video, to taste this. So I'm probably just going to make this. I'm not going to make from scratch. But, so I'm going to do beef. Yeah, it's just for convenience, see, right? If I make that thick, which a lot of people are saying, make it thick. No matter what I do, someone's going to say, oh, that, if I make it thick, they're going to say, that's too thick. Yeah, Ben, you got to be really thick. And if I make it to instructions, people are going to say, like, that's too thin. Like, there's no way I'm going to get this gravy where there's not going to be a comment that somebody says they like it the other way. I'm going to make it thick. That's why I think it needs to be thick, a thick gravy. But some people will say, like, that's too thick. I already can hear it. But I'm going to do beef, I'll do carrots, I'll do roasted potatoes. What green vegetables should I do? What did that article say? It said Brussels sprouts, but y'all said that was Christmas. So I'm not going to do Brussels sprouts. I'm not going to do pigs. What green vegetables should I do? Do you normally have a green vegetable? It's the main thing, carrots and potatoes. Yeah, for turkey stuffing with cranberry sauce, yeah. I can't have Brussels sprouts anytime. Broccoli, Ginga says, and Ben, broccoli, okay. So you don't like it too thick or too thin, you just like it just perfect. Me too. Runner beans, cabbage, Nikki says, okay. It sounds like broccoli. Maybe it's the green one I should do. Again, I don't want to go too crazy, y'all. There's only two of us eating. Cabbage, broad beans, and runner beans. Runner beans. I don't even know what those beans are. Runner beans. Are they just in really good shape? Are they hard to catch? They like marathons? What's a runner bean? This is a green bean. Even cauliflower. Carrot. Okay. So I think I'll do beef, carrots, potatoes, broccoli, and I'll do cheddar cauliflower. Is that just so? Has anybody got a recipe that I should do? No sweet, I don't like it. I don't like sweet. We call it rutabaga. So cauliflower cheese. What is it? Is it just English cheddar melted over roasted cauliflower? Or is it like a casserole where it's like cauliflower in a cheese sauce baked in the oven? What are y'all calling? Has anybody got a good recipe, a traditional recipe? You could email me, or I can just look it up. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's just like shredded cheese over roasted cauliflower. That's simple. Or is it more of like a baked casserole with like an English cheddar cheese sauce and then cauliflower in it. Then you put it in the oven. Maybe top it with some shredded cheese on top. I need to figure out what y'all are calling cheese cauliflower. Cheese over the cauliflower melted in the oven. So it's that simple. Just put some shredded cheese over some cauliflower. That's easy. So it's not a casserole. It's just melted cheese over cauliflower. Did I roast the cauliflower? Or did I boil the cauliflower? Or is it done all kinds of different ways? Scarlet beans. I've never heard of that either. But it just might not be a variety that we have around here. Might be popular in other places in the U.S. It's not a casserole, Choppy says. But then Adrian says it's a cheese sauce. So conflicting reports. But I can look it up. Nikki says parboil first. Add cheese sauce and shredded cheese. The cheese sauce over the cauliflower and baked in the oven. So that's more like the casserole. Sue, would you steam or boil the cauliflower first? Or just, like, here's how I would make, this exactly how I would make. I just like roasted cauliflower, but you wouldn't have to do this stuff. You could just take raw cauliflower or roasted cauliflower or par-cooked cauliflower. But then I would make an English cheddar sauce, and then I would pour that all into a casserole dish, and then I would top it with some shredded cheese. Then I would bake that in the oven, probably covered for most of it, especially if I didn't pre-cook the cauliflower. If it were just raw cauliflower and a cheese sauce, I would cover that with aluminum foil, put it in the oven, let it bake, and then I would take the aluminum foil off the top for the last several minutes to give it a nice golden top to it. That is how I would make cauliflower cheese. Nikki says parboil it a little, then drain, put in a dish, and sauce and shredded cheese. Okay. Yeah, that would just cook it quicker. You probably wouldn't have to cover it if you parboil it. The reason why I cover it with aluminum foil is it takes the parboil step out, and it kind of steams, and you don't have to parboil the cauliflower. I think I'm not going to parboil the cauliflower, y'all. I think I know a trick. Yeah. I'm reading what Ben's saying. Parboil the cauliflower, make cheese sauce. I think that parboiling is an extra step. Because if you put the cauliflower in a cheese sauce, and it's not cooked, just chopped up, not parboiled, if you put that in a cheese sauce and cover it, and put that in the oven, I mean, cauliflower is going to cook. It doesn't need to be parboiled if you do it that way. And then you can take it, then you can uncover it for the end and get a little roasty toasty on the top. I think I'm giving y'all a hint. That's an extra step, parboiling cauliflower. It's not like cauliflower is hard to cook. It's going to cook itself in the cheese sauce in the oven. Now, it might make the cook in the oven less long if you parboil the cauliflower, but you've already taken the time of parboiling the cauliflower. So I don't think there's any advantage to parboiling cauliflower unless you tell me something I don't know. I don't see an advantage of parboiling. Anyway, coming soon, I'll make that video. I might make it today. I might record it today because I'm off. My job is outdoors right now, but it's rainy almost every day, and it's making it hard for me to work. Anyway, that's about it. I have had a lot of roast beef on Sunday with carrots and potatoes. And I will say this, my mom's wasn't very good. We did eat it a lot on Sunday. Basically, her Sunday roast, it would be roast beef, it would be carrots, It would be potatoes, no Yorkshire pudding. It would be probably dinner rolls and really no gravy. She didn't make gravy with it. And so that would be it. It would be potatoes, carrots, roast beef. They would all be seasoned with just simply salt and pepper. Not very tasty. Pretty bland. That was what my mom's cooking was like. So I had a lot of Sunday roast, and I gotta be honest, as a kid, I didn't look forward to it. I did not look forward to it. Well, it wasn't that it was bad, but it was just that it wasn't flavorful. No gravy, and no Yorkshire pudding. I'll make sure I get my Yorkshire puddings right. Yorkshire puddings. I'll try to make sure I get them right this time. You know, yesterday out on my channel, just to wrap things up, what came out yesterday? 5 ways that the UK builds communities better than the US, and London day trips. Yeah, no, Sue. Dry roast without gravy. It wasn't very, my mom wasn't that great of a cook. So some things she made, but her Sunday roast was not to be desired. I wouldn't say that it was, the roast wasn't dry, like the meat. She didn't overcook it. She didn't overcook the roast. It had some juice, but she didn't make gravy. So in that sense, it was dry. No gravy. But those 2 videos that came out yesterday, both of them have over 10-minute watch times. And I think they're like 18-minute videos. Both of them have, I believe, one has a 6% click-through rate, one has an 8% click-through rate. Those videos, I was looking up information. If a video gets watched halfway through on YouTube, so say it's a 10-minute video and the average watch time is 5 minutes, that video, those analytics are off the chart for YouTube. So those videos I had out yesterday, 18 minutes long, average viewing time was over 10 minutes on each video. Those are great analytics. Like, it's so good. The click rate usually, how often people click on a video, is about 3% average on YouTube. Those have like 6 and 8% click-through rates. And still, one of them got 400 views and one of them got 300 views. It boggles my mind. Why is the algorithm not rewarding what supposedly it does reward? If you look it up, it'll tell you online if a video is getting that kind of click-through and that kind of watch time, it should do good. But for some reason, I continue to have videos like that have these really long watch times and high click-through rates, and the YouTube algorithm is not rewarding it. It's not continuing to suggest that video. I don't get it. There's something about my channel that YouTube doesn't want to continue to reward. It could be my subscribe. It could be, I don't know. I'm speculating, but you know, most of my viewers and subscribers are older. Maybe YouTube's just like, okay, this channel is not the type of channel. Maybe the algorithm is like, the subscribers on this channel aren't the demographic YouTube's looking for. And so the algorithm doesn't work the same for my channel as it does. I guess what I'm saying is the algorithm on YouTube, it doesn't have to be fair to every channel, and maybe it's not. It doesn't have to be the same to every channel. I mean, it's not the same to every channel. I think the algorithm is maybe figuring in something about my channel that's going, okay, the click time is good on this video. The duration watch is good on this video. but the channel itself maybe has an older demographic, and therefore we're not going to, it's not the same algorithm. I don't know. There's something. There's got to be something. I'm only speculating. But there's some reason why these videos that you can also see, I can see my average video duration time analytics on my channel. I'm sorry, I'm talking about analytics for a minute. But I can see that when I first started the channel, overall, the duration view on my videos was like 3 minutes when I first started. That continues to climb. And now my average view duration is 7 minutes on all my videos. So my channel's getting better. But like that video yesterday, the one that did the best was the London day trip one. Got like 400 views. I can't figure it out. No, Brad and Lucy has loads of viewers and subscribers, and they're about mostly our age. Yeah, see, I don't know what it is, King. I'm just speculating. Maybe there's a time period when the algorithm rewards a channel better than other time. I don't know. But I know if I put out an 18-minute video and people watch, on average, over 10 minutes, probably can't do better than that. Because I don't think there's anything I can do to make my videos get more watches. I don't think I can do better than that. Anyway, that's a little analytic talk. Sue, do you like that Baggins Book Bazaar video? See, when I put out a video like that, I know it's not going to get a lot of views. And I don't care. But when I put out a video that I think's going to get a good watch time, and then it does, and then it doesn't get good amount of views, it just blows my mind. And I can't figure out why or what I should do different. But yeah, that Baggins book video, that was a good place, huh? The video I'm probably going to put out later today is that man versus horse marathon that I read about in Midwells. I read about it in the live stream where it's a 22-mile, or I think they said in the video 24-mile race, man versus horse. I watched last year's highlights from that race in Wells, man versus horse marathon. That video will come out probably later today. And I don't expect that video to get very many views. So I'm not really all about the views. I don't care. But I do care that I feel like when I do have videos that get long duration views and high click rates, I do get a little offended that they don't do better than 300 views. Like that 5 ways you build better communities in the UK. I got like 300 and something views. And yet like a 12-minute watch time. I don't get that. I don't get that. But yeah, I do love the book. I do love the bookstores I keep finding in places like Hay on Way, and yeah, there's a lot of, and the London one you were talking about, Sue, that street in London's full of books. I haven't reacted to it yet, but I probably will. I do like doing that. But anyway, I better get ready and pretty soon do this Sunday roast. Put that up on my channel. And I'll make a Sunday roast better than my mom's. But King, it's good to see you, and Sue, Ben, Nikki, Brooke. Thanks for all the help. Adrian and Choppy. I'll look back and see what your suggestions were about how to make this Sunday roast. I guess I gotta go get some good English cheddar, which is expensive. But good to see you all. Thanks for your help. I think that's about everybody that was here today. Ben, Choppy, Adrian, Sue, Genghis, Steppin was here. I saw Choppy, Nikki, Brooke. Anyway, whoever's here, good to see you all. Cheers to everybody. Everybody have a good day. But yeah, cheers. Wayne from Dallas, Texas, signing off.